All right, today we're diving into some really fascinating research from neuroscientist Richard J. Davidson that could completely change how you think about your own emotions. We're going to uncover how your brain's unique patterns create your emotional life. And, this is the best part, how you can actually change them. Let's get right into it.
I mean, really think about it. You and a friend face the exact same problem at work. You manage to bounce back pretty quickly, you're ready for the next thing, but your friend, well, they might be stuck dwelling on it for weeks. Or hey, maybe you're someone who can just walk into a room and instantly get the vibe, while someone else seems to miss every single social cue. What if those aren't just personality quirks? What if there's a real scientific reason for these huge differences?
Well, it turns out these differences are far from random. They actually form what Davidson calls your emotional fingerprint. And just like a real fingerprint, science is now showing us exactly how to read it.
So, what is an emotional style? You can think of it as your brain's default setting for how you respond to everything life throws at you, the good and the bad. It's the specific, unique wiring in your brain that explains why we all react so differently. It's basically your personal emotional blueprint.
And here's the real game changer. Your emotional style isn't just some vague, fuzzy feeling. The research actually proves that these patterns can be watched. They can be measured with incredible scientific precision. This means we can finally start to map out our own emotional landscapes, see our own tendencies, and really, truly understand them.
Okay, so if we can measure it, what are we actually measuring? Well, Davidson's model breaks down our emotional style into 6 key dimensions. These are kind of like the fundamental building blocks that all come together to create your one-of-a-kind emotional profile.
Yep, 6. That is the magic number. And by figuring out where we each fall on the spectrum for these 6 things, we can get a surprisingly sharp and detailed picture of what's going on inside our own heads.
So let's run through them real quick. First, you've got resilience. When something bad happens, how fast do you bounce back? Then there's outlook. Are you a glass half full person or do you tend to see the clouds? Third is social intuition. Are you great at reading people, picking up on the little things? Number 4, self-awareness. How in tune are you with what's actually going on inside you? Fifth is sensitivity to context. Do you just know that a joke that works with your friends is probably not going to work in a business meeting? And last, attention. Can you zone in and focus, or does every little thing pull you away? Okay, so this brings us to the big question, right? We've got this unique emotional fingerprint. It's defined by these 6 dimensions, but are we stuck with it? I mean, if you're low on resilience or you've got a pretty negative outlook, is that just the way it is forever?
And the answer, which is fantastic news for all of us, is a huge resounding no. And this brings us to the most hopeful and empowering part of all this research, the science of neuroplasticity.
For a really long time, the belief in science was that our emotional habits were pretty much locked in when we were kids. But modern neuroscience has just completely blown that idea out of the water. We now know for a fact that the brain is plastic. That means it can physically change, it can form new connections, it can rewire itself at any age, all based on our experiences.
This is really the heart of Davidson's work. Our emotional style isn't a fixed trait. It's malleable. It's not a life sentence, it's just a starting point. We all have this incredible built-in ability to change and to grow, no matter how old we are.
So if our brains can change, the next obvious question is, how? How do we actually do it? How can we start rewiring these emotional habits that are so deeply ingrained? Well, the research points to a bunch of really practical, really powerful strategies.
Think of these as the most effective tools in your mental gym. Things like mindfulness meditation that's been shown to physically strengthen the parts of our brain that regulate emotion. There's cognitive-behavioural therapy, or CBT, which is amazing for helping us break down negative thought patterns. And of course, just our basic lifestyle is a huge lever. Regular exercise, a good diet, and especially quality sleep, that's absolutely critical for processing our feelings.
So, what does this all boil down to? The main point is that this isn't just some interesting theory to think about. It's a practical roadmap. The moment you start to understand your own emotional style, your unique patterns of resilience, outlook, and all the rest, you gain the power to consciously, deliberately, shape your emotional life for the better. So, we'll leave you with this to chew on. Now that you know about these 6 dimensions, and you know about your brain's incredible ability to change, just take a second. If you could pick just one part of your emotional fingerprint to work on, maybe building a little more resilience or cultivating a more positive outlook, what would it be? Because the science is crystal clear. You absolutely have the power to make that change.